Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Let's Roleplay Rag-A-Muffins. This is week number, was it 4 now?
I think so. Oh, remember, put the music on.
Yeah, I'm playing the music right now. But we are once again joined by Colonel DeFrog.
Yo.
Morath.
Hello.
Balile.
Hi.
And Zombie Cam.
Hello, everybody.
And it seems to be a tradition with this game. We are missing one player. In this case, it's Winter.
Which means that no one will die on the operating table.
This is true.
Thank God.
For one, someone...
Barring terrible rolling.
Indeed. So I do apologize for those of you who are watching this and going like, holy shit, why is there even more Rag-A-Muffins? Don't you have any other campaigns you're doing? The holiday season are kind of weird. We're going to basically be going from, like, I know that we've basically been flooding the channel with, sessions of Rag-A-Muffins recently, but by the time you watch this, you'll already seen that there's an episode of Living the Dream that's just gone up before this one. And we're going to also be continuing that trend by having next week a wrap on the Doctor Who game. And then for the holidays, while everyone's kind of in and out of the state, or their individual states, we're going to have a selection of one-shots and, some mini-games and stuff that'll go on to break up things. And when we come back, Balile's going to be running a new campaign called the City of Mobius alongside more Rag-A-Muffins. So, the long flood of Rag-A-Muffins episodes is going to peter out, and it's going to turn more into a regular role-playing game as opposed to the endless marathon it's been running recently.
So for those of you whose patience has been tested, we won't run it ragged much longer.
Oh. So, having said all of that, I do want to make sure that before we end up in a kind of breaky situation, that we end Rag-A-Muffins on a, well, not end, but pause Rag-A-Muffins on a slightly more, stable, or at least more interesting point, than just sort of flying into the planet to do something cool when next we arrive. So, on the subject of doing something cool when next we show up, we pick up on our heroes as they're flying into Atlas space, looking to
do something cool.
Looking
heroes.
Heroes. Looking specifically to try to get in on the apologies. Looking specifically to try to achieve to contact the any possible resistance movement that they might be able to use to assist them in their daring raid to find information on the on the assassination attempt that has put them all in a particularly ugly situation. In our last episode, they met up with the crew of the Jade Salmon, whose whose medic, Catherine McCready, hired them specifically to blow up a nearby prison arena facility while they're here in Atlas in exchange for some actual payoff. And so, because that happens to be close to where they need to go to anyway to get this information, that is the direction y'all are going into. When we last left off, you had just managed to avoid getting into a direct fight with a famous mercenary, and were, as I said a couple times now, flying into the system itself. We pick up as you do so.
I should also note that one of the other reasons that we're going there is apparently the guy who either screwed us over or hired us and got screwed over is somehow connected with these latest games.
Indeed, yes. So you're going to, hopefully pick up on the individual known as Jester, and hopefully,
That's the name of my cat.
That is true. And you'll find out whether or not he actually screwed you, or whether you are all pawns in a much larger and nastier scheme.
Or if it was just a coincidence.
Or if it was all just a random coincidence and none of it mattered, and you guys just kind of ended up getting screwed over by fate, which, let's face it, would not be entirely unexpected for a campaign, especially one written by me. But we're gonna figure all that shit out very soon. And we now pick up where we left off. You guys are flying in, but tell me, what do you do? How are you gonna do this?
Well, I just painted my car, and I had also attempted an operation where somebody's
Nonsense!
head
You completed an operation. You saved a woman's life.
Yeah, the
That's
magic.
fair.
Yeah, the magic lizard almost tore open her face.
Oh,
no.
The magic lizard shoved a claw in her brain, but you guys managed to close her skull back up and repair most of the brain damage.
Well, scams, their reputation precedes them.
That's true.
Well,
Man.
I
Now
am
you
currently
need to
working
find someone.
on a bit of a disguise.
Ooh.
Yes.
Sneaky.
Given that my plan to use the woman as a mouthpiece didn't work out, as she is lobotomized, which makes it awfully hard for her to talk for us. Also walk, do
So,
things other than drool.
To be fair, she was brain damaged, but not completely lobotomized. She's just having trouble.
Right.
She's slow now.
That's useful.
My point is, she's not going to be particularly useful. I am falling back on Plan B, which is to make a suit that will go ahead and serve as a look-alike power armor / medical suit. To go ahead and put forward Conrad von Helmut, mercenary leader, and totally a human.
Mr. Human.
We will be starting with the look of the German Stahlhelm, and we're going to be doing mostly in black, and I'm kind of thinking that a cape's a good idea.
Fair enough.
Gotta hide the wings.
Are you dressing up as Darth Vader? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe.
I'm getting behind this. I'm gonna put on black robes that cover up my face.
Okay.
Okay, so apparently I'm going to be Darth Vader with at least one Sith Inquisitor.
You guys, okay, I mean, you can do this. I'm not going to stop you, but, fair warning. The dress code of Atlas Security is not actually, Darth Lords of the Sith.
Well, we're not Atlas Security. We are a contracted mercenary organization.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Kaufman.
Besides, I have to be wearing this. It's medical necessity.
I will be also wearing a plain gray uniform with a couple of red and blue buttons on it, and a medical officer style hat. So we can complete the Star
Actually,
Wars.
hell with it. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that as a standard uniform.
Okay.
It shouldn't be too hard to knock together a set of uniforms for the company in general. It'll make us look appropriately professional.
Fair enough. You can actually do that pretty easily. My only question here is, are you specifically trying to go for a very specific thing, or are you just trying to create a nice uniformed look?
Nice uniformed look.
Okay. I was gonna say, it would be a little bit more difficult if you guys actually wanted to do like a very specific thing. But if you guys actually are just cool with being like, we want to look like a professional group, and it doesn't matter if they recognize us as something. That's fine.
This actually ticks off something on my to-do list today, which I was going to confront the captain about. Do we have a standardized dress code for people that work on the ship?
Well, I can I'm going to use my art skill to just essentially get everybody's paints, essentially get everybody's color coding on the record while we're on the way. Because I can paint some armor. That's easy.
So you're going to have a uniformed art look that is also individually customized color-wise?
No.
Okay.
For consistency's sake, I think is what he's trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah, so essentially what I'm doing is actually just painting up the instead of everybody having individual uniforms and us like trying to pull like, okay, well this person uses all this equipment, I'm just going to paint their existing equipment to all match the same color scheme.
Fair enough.
Alright, so I rolled 2 6s, which senses is 7 plus art is 7, so 28.
That will do. 28 is more than enough for you to be able to effectively disguise yourselves as, as a bunch of...
As Imperial troops, basically.
Yeah.
Do not paint them white. That camouflages with nothing.
No,
No, they're
you know
gray.
what
They're
no.
gray uniforms.
If you paint them white, guess what you look like? Federation soldiers.
Oh, God. Yeah.
No. We don't want to get too close to the mark on that one.
X, thank you.
And I have a very...
To be fair,
accent.
like the thing with the Atlas is they do respect the Federation. Like they like Atlas kind of like came about from like primarily from people who were, like former Federation, like who were around before, like when the Rim largely broke away from the Federation, and part of the thing that allowed them to justify themselves as being like, oh yeah, no, we're totally doing like the right thing by breaking away and stuff, was essentially going, hey, all these other people are rebelling. Technically, we're the only people still loyal to the actual legitimate government. Now, obviously, that doesn't extend to any old Yahoo coming in being like, yeah, I'm from the Federation, and being like, oh boy, that's great. But if you come in being like, hey, yeah, we're fanboys of the Federation and their style of doing things, like with a superhuman-centric approach.
So what you're saying is I'm dressing up my mercenaries as stormtroopers.
Kind of.
Get out the white paint.
It's pretty
No,
stormtroopers.
I'm going with the gray color scheme because it fits in with a lot of industrialized stuff. And we can say that we specialize in urban warfare.
Yeah, that'll work.
All right, fair
But-
enough.
Yeah, obviously I do like my homeworld is a place that is just outside of Federation space and does a lot of business with them, so I sound like a Federation person.
That's entirely fair. So, question then. So actually, this is actually a really important question. You said two questions actually. Part of your backstory, Morath, is that your character is, was like their homeworld was raided by people working for Atlas, and your wife was taken as a slave.
Well, he doesn't know. She doesn't know that. But no, it wasn't her homeworld. It was that they had. The planet has a thing with marrying off-worlders, so they both left her homeworld because she was at school there, but she was from the Federation.
Okay,
And so we left that world and moved out to the Rim.
Wait, so she's from the Federation, and you're from within this part of the world, from around the Federation part of the world, and you both moved to the opposite end of the galaxy.
Oh, we moved to the Rim, yeah.
Because you guys are right now like the farthest point while still being within the Rim from the Federation.
That happened over time, but yes.
Okay.
After the place where they moved was raided by Atlas, she went to the Rim.
Okay, again, and it would have been it also would have been Atlas aligned mercenaries, not Atlas themselves. They don't go out like raiding people. But okay, and how long ago has that been? Like, when was that event in your past?
3 years.
3 years. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, I just need to keep all this stuff in mind because you guys are actually going to Atlas now, and that stuff might be somewhat important.
Yeah, she for Red, her wife was missing, presumed dead.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. So then, for the rest of you, do you have any plans, Kaufman? Do you have any ideas of what you want to do as, a roboto to try to Yeah, as an AI core to avoid being spotted and scanned and discovered by Atlas.
Well, what I was planning on doing, but I wasn't able to get the word in, was he was going to give out the plan that they should steal a Atlas bot and then outfit it with the AI core attachment thing, and then just put him inside the robot, so then he actually blends in. Especially since he's the only one with the actual knowledge of Atlas law.
Okay. How do you want to try to steal a robot?
That's a good question.
I mean, quick smash and grab. How common are robots?
In Atlas, they're relatively common as servants, but they're not like everywhere. Like, yeah, they're like expensive tools, basically.
Okay, so what you're saying is we need to find something fairly isolated. We need it to be a rich person, but not incredibly rich.
Yeah, that'd probably be ideal. Yeah.
So is there...
How big is the AI
vacation
core?
space
What was that?
for Atlas Elite?
Uh,
Or low-level Elite?
you would not necessarily know that.
I've got an AI
How
core
big is
here
the
that's
AI
from
core?
Atlas.
The AI core is the size of a fucking tape, like a
I'm just saying that that's possible data that Kaufman...
is it the size of a VHS or is it
Yeah,
the
I got a
size
VHS tape.
Oh, okay.
Zombie, what was your question?
We don't need to get the robot a body. We can just carry it around.
Also,
Or
true.
plug it into the car.
Both options. So the question then is like, first, how do you want to actually get get past Atlas security to actually let into the system itself? I mean, I know your ultimate plan is to disguise yourself
like what we've
as these people.
been doing so far.
Okay, fair enough.
Well,
I just want to
let's
make
see.
sure if you guys have any other further plans besides that, because you're basically like the moment we resume regular time, you guys are going to be hailed by Atlas security.
So, what we would need to do is, I think, if Kaufman and I could falsify records of these people being hired on in order to deal with a possible rebellion that may erupt in the near future.
Atlas would not be like letting you guys know if there was one. Like, as far as Atlas is concerned, there is no rebellion. There will never be a rebellion. Anyone who says there might be a rebellion will be shot on sight to prove how little chance of a rebellion there really is. And if there would be a rebellion, we would tell you where to go and what to do. And we're gonna do that anyway, but not because there's gonna be a rebellion, because there isn't gonna be a rebellion.
Well, no, what I mean is, like, as far there's this new unit that's being deployed because the foreigners are coming in because they're jealous of Atlas.
Keep in mind, you're flying into
It
Atlas
would
space.
be way more. It would be way more. It would be way easier if you just faked that a famous arena abomination.
An arena
This is
fighter
coming here?
or someone.
Yeah, like you're escorting a famous arena fighter. Like that would be way easier than trying to falsify that thing.
Like, you can try and have yourself process
I,
as
a famous
mercenaries,
arena
but
fighter?
you're not going
Yeah.
to be able to.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right.
Are you
We're
a famous
escorting a returning arena fighter. Yeah, because zombies.
So
character
how famous was Linda?
Well, she survived.
That's famous enough.
So-
She got a big old ceremony and lots of press.
Yeah.
Okay, so Linda, you have hired Von Helmet Security to bring you back.
Helmet.
For an expedition match, or returning as a
Didn't
viewer
get
of
enough
the
blood the first time. Your skin just hasn't been as soft.
Does that
since
mean
you
that
stopped
I need
bathing
to-
in it.
Does that mean I need to go back into the blood games?
No.
Well, that's going to be the implication. You don't necessarily have to actually do it. Like, in fact,
Chance though.
yeah, like if you guys screw up, then absolutely that's going to happen.
Oh man, isn't that going to be great? Oh yeah. Next part. Zombie has to survive the blood game.
Yeah, it's like
Again.
Here's the thing: like, if you guys go with that plan, it's got a relatively high chance of succeeding. It's just that if it does succeed, but you don't manage to like wriggle out of it again, zombie's going in the pit.
The funniest part is, if you win again, you might actually be hired by Atlas.
Linda doesn't know how to feel about this plan, but she looks at Raphael and says, I'll trust in your judgment, Captain.
Look, we don't want you actually going in the pit. That is not the plan. As far as I'm concerned, the faster that we raise this place, the better. I can't lie to you, though. There is, of course, always the risk, but that's mercenary work. That's
in
what
your
you've been getting a
contract.
dissertation on lately.
It says it here in your contract. If we were to somehow funk up and you end up in
any sort of
in
blood
arena,
game.
yeah, in any sort of blood game, we are not liable.
Besides, if that were to happen, we'd figure out a way to cheat.
It's true.
I mean, I'm a pretty good way of doing that, but yeah.
All right, so that's your plan then.
Kaufman must state that being caught cheating within the blood games immediately results in the release of abomination.
Well,
It literally is Hunger Games.
that's the other thing that we need to go over. Kaufman, how are you going to be able to deal with operating in Atlas space? We had some issues on our first operation.
So long as Kaufman does not require causing the directly causing the death of Atlas personnel, it should be fine.
Okay, so you can't directly cause the death of an Atlas personnel. What about through inaction?
Should be serviceable.
Okay.
I vote in favor of keeping the AI out of a suit.
Like out of a different robot suit.
Out of a body, yeah.
All right. Out
Well,
of
there's no-
his normal body or out of a body altogether.
Out of any body.
Well, I mean, Kaufman,
Kaufman.
you could serve as a translator, couldn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, Kaufman would be very useful as a translator, as he's the only person left in the group who can actually speak natively Atlas.
Kaufman, would you be willing to go into a interface output device that would allow you to continue to speak for us and still advise but not be motive?
That should be. Kaufman can definitely remain functional within one of those devices.
Okay, we'll bang one together for you then.
I've got a plug-in in my car.
Kaufman does request that you, if given the opportunity, you do take a Atlas personnel robot along with you from the planet.
If we are able to grab one without undue risk to personnel, of course.
We could request one as a translator when we get on planet, and then just knock it on the back of the head and replace its internal programming with Kaufman.
I'm sure I could handle getting
Thoughts on
my
that?
hands on one of those, Captain.
You're our Atlas expert. Thoughts on feasibility?
Who is that directed towards?
Towards you, Kaufman.
You.
Serviceable.
All right.
What a confident plan you got going on here.
When we make plans, they don't seem to turn out too well, so better to improvise.
Fair enough. Okay, so
Yeah,
okay, I'm sorry, is there anything else?
Yeah. So as it goes, we keep Kaufman in the car as a translator, but then we say we don't have one that can be used without without the car. So we would request one as a personal to follow us around, and then when we get it, we knock it on the head and put Kaufman inside, and then that'll be that.
All right. Fair enough.
You could say that the only one that because that seems a bit suspicious that if y'all don't.
Also, they would get mighty suspicious with us having an AI core in any functionality. We need to hide Kaufman.
Well, no, what I mean is it's not an AI core, it's a translation program that runs through the car for security checks.
You can also say that the one who got nearly lobotomized is also
That's true.
also out of commission. Like your translator's out of commission.
You say she got stabbed
Oh,
by a
true.
dirty scav.
That would
It'll
be
even be true. We've got forensic proof.
Yeah, we have forensic proof. Oh man, I feel bad throwing Winter's character. No, I don't. I do not.
No, don't. This is choice.
So, that all being said then, you guys ready?
Just trying to think if there's anything else.
Too late. As you're flying into the thing, the comm frequencies light up, and you see that two security patrollers, in Atlas colors, are hailing you. Their weapons are already armed and ready to fire, but they are, hailing you rather than shooting you, which is always a pretty good sign with Atlas.
All right.
Okay.
Shall I put on the camera?
Put on my helmet. Let's do this.
I put on my black robes.
Yeah, so you actually get after you see the Atlas logo open with the two, the stylized human holding up a world. The image actually cuts to a split screen of both captains. And Kaufman, you recognize this is something that Atlas does in order to ensure that basically people don't fuck with, they don't rely on, they try and, correct for human error by having, patrol teams actually, working in unison. So if one person gets, duped, the other person is less likely to also have been duped. Though only one of these people will be talking to you. And sure enough, the, fellow on the right, asks you in a stern voice. State your business in Atlas space.
Von Helmet Security, he contracted for transport of an arena fighter.
Arena fighter, eh? And who exactly are you transporting?
I'm going to go ahead and motion to Linda.
All right, is Linda?
Linda. Go on.
I was just gonna ask, what does Linda look like right now? Is she bound?
She
Is
has the black robes on.
Ready?
Her
Okay.
face,
Oh,
her face is shrouded in mystery.
okay.
She reaches up and pulls the hood off, revealing herself.
You actually see both of their eyes widen slightly, and it's like, well, I'll be damned. If it isn't. What was your character's last name?
Linda Love.
If it isn't Linda Love.
Oh yeah!
The one who was talking to you before goes, all right, what exactly are you doing with Miss Love? Not looking to come back for a little bit of payback, are you?
I have returned for blood.
You actually see them kind of like glance like slide to the side, like not exactly at each other, but you can kind of tell they're like looking at each other's images on the screen, like on their own screens, and
You have to finish up that sentence with something else.
yeah.
The blood of Atlas criminal scum.
The second one actually takes over now and says, this is somewhat unusual, but she's coming back looking for another round of the games. It's not a bad time for it. We don't exactly have a great crop in this latest batch, and she'd definitely make for a interesting return showing. Tell you what, we'll escort you back to over to the temporary games headquarters in stationed outside of the fucking brains on the fritz because I just got finished with the stupid living the dream thing recently and I'm tired. We're gonna call it the fuck it. We're called the Aqueduct. Is the latest arena that they've just set up. That's the one you guys are actually gonna go after. And they're saying the Aqueduct has been like a station outside the Aqueduct has been prepared to organize the next few rounds of the games. We'll take you to the system administrator there, who will deal with the paper, who you can talk to. If you're all above board, then he kind of looks over at, Duhad at your character, at Raphael, and goes, you will be paid for your services to Atlas, and he looks at Linda, will get all the blood you want.
Your escort is appreciated.
Linda flashes a look back at the captain, like, is this good? Is this what we wanted?
Oh god, my throat hurts so fucking much.
Don't try and strain it with voices.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to lose my goddamn voice, but damn you, living the dream. Anyway,
thanks, Sound Speed.
Thanks.
No, even better. Thanks, Nero.
Thanks. Yeah. But yeah, he's like, all right. Atlas security patrol out, and the screen cuts back, and you see the two ships kind of move to flank you. One falling along your side on the starboard, and one falling behind you, basically ready to start shooting if you try and make any sudden movements.
No sudden movements. We'll go along quietly.
So you had a chance to see something that most of you, outside of obviously Linda and Kaufman, would have never had the chance to even see in video before, which is the interior of Atlas post isolation. It's a beautiful system. While there's a lot of mined out planetoids, they do a really good job of cleaning that shit up so that it doesn't look terrible. And the planets that have been left to basically be pretty planets are stunningly gorgeous. There are few massive city-spanning metropolises like Big Z in Atlas, and even those are done up in such a way that they're very tasteful. They're always they keep strict population controls in order to ensure that every place always looks like an idealized version of a paradise world or a paradise city. And that is
lots of guns and roses.
Yes.
Are the girls pretty?
Atlas girls are extremely pretty, yes.
Is the grass green though?
The grass is green in places, blue in others, yellow in some places as well. It's a little bit, they try and keep things to an Earth standard, but that Earth standard has kind of gone a little bit wonky over the years.
Also, apparently, a bit Kentucky.
Yes.
The grass is green and the girls are pretty. So
You also see like as you kind of like like
I guess Linda's saying, please take me home.
God damn it. It's almost more of a Kaufman thing, but the cities you actually can kind of see, like from what you can see of the cities, is that they are deliberately kind of done to like look like they're in an Earth style, and this is something that you Raphael would actually notice more than the rest of them, is that like if you've ever seen pictures of Earth, which you probably have, it's not too far off from how it looks now, like. But the cities on Atlas are done up to look like Earth if people only kind of had famous landmarks and city pictures to like work off of examples of. So you'll see like city streets that look like they came straight out of New York next to distinctly London style architecture next to like city hall buildings that are shaped like the Taj Mahal. Like it's a fucking...
Raphael is just gonna palm the front of her helmet. Oh lord, it's Earth the theme park.
Basically, yeah. Like it's really pretty and clearly designed with a lot of artistic, consideration in mind. But like for anyone who knows Earth as an actual place, this place is the Disneyland of Earth reenactments.
There's a reenactment of World War II.
Oh god, there's like various fashion trends that are like based on various periods in Earth history. So like togas will be in for a while, and then like revolutionary, era French will be in for a while, and then totally like, blank face, not even realizing what they're fucking doing. Like Nazi style uniforms are in for a bit, and then like early Federation uniforms and like military styles are in for a while. Like they're just like
Duhad. I do have to point out Hugo Boss.
Yeah, I mean
Hugo Boss.
No, exactly. Like they pick and choose the very best and very classiest pieces of Earth styles without any sort of like thought for the historical context, because for Atlas none of that matters. It's all humanity. It's like the greatest hits of humanity. Humanity's great. Whatever.
They're not wrong.
Yeah, but the kind of breaking that theme is Atlas Security, which is remarkably like stable in its design. Like Atlas Security ships, the Atlas Security ships that follow you, are just like the ships that you've seen, in dozens of photos and historical reels and all sorts of things. Like they. The interiors, the engineering, all that stuff changes, but the aesthetic of Atlas Security doesn't, and likewise their games don't. And so when you fly into the station for Atlas the Atlas Games Bureau, it is a grim-looking building. Like it is dark colored to not like become an eyesore. But it looks like an apartment. Like it looks like a building block in space, and like a very dark colored building, like office block in space. And the place opens up for you guys to dock as you come in.
Okay.
As you land, you see that the interior of this place is actually pretty clean, pretty organized. Like it's about as populated with people as the one on the station that you were on at the very beginning. The one guarded by Typhoon soldiers, by Typhoon mercs. But with a really clean, really like well put together thing. Like this looks like a corporate office. Like the parking lot of a very well kept corporate office, and you are actually like when the gate lowers and you see that someone come out as like a docking master to greet you in. It's literally like a woman in like a business skirt with clipboard and like a little like glass thing that like reads out various bits of information. And she waits for you guys to come out to register your ship.
Hello, Mike Wazowski.
Okay, let's do this.
So do you come out as yourselves, or are you coming out in the car? Like, what are you doing?
I mean, this is the standard docking thing: lowering the ramp and tromping on down.
Okay. Linda, like, considering the fact that you are still technically like an exiled prisoner, are you coming out like being flanked as if you're a captive, or are you basically being like, "Yo, bitches, I'm back. What's up?"
What would Linda think? Like,
Linda would
from
probably
her
know
time,
that
what
like
do you
it's
think they
it's-
would want to see.
like Linda would know that it's probably dangerous to, you know, like give them any reason to think that you are any sort of threat. But that considering the fact that like you come back under your own volition, apparently they're less likely to, you know, just shoot you on sight because they think you're like dangerous. Like, so you're probably good either way, but you probably just want to make sure you're careful not to give them a reason to change their minds about you.
What does the captain think?
We've already been kind of playing up the "you're here for blood, yo bitches, I'm back."
Okay, well, we'll stick with that then.
Okay, fair enough.
But I won't carry any of my weapons with me. I'll leave them on the ship for now.
That's probably fair, yeah.
Well, you are kind of your own weapon, a little bit.
So,
Do you have like cybernetics, don't you?
no.
Oh,
I have like the quality of cybernetics, but
okay.
Fair
Anyway.
enough. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, as you all come off, like the lady stops you on the way in and says, you know, name of the ship, name of the company, and who is this all going to be registered under?
Lost Basket flying under Von Helmet Security.
Yeah, and she's addressing you, even though I'm assuming that Kaufman is going to be you know, translating all of this.
I speak Atlas.
Oh, you do? Okay, yeah, never mind. Fair enough.
It might not be perfect Atlas, but I can at least speak it.
Yeah, since you're
Where are you from? Your accent is very distinct.
Yeah,
No,
it's
I-
like- yeah,
From
like-
the Federation.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna see real quick here. Yeah, actually, as you're talking, she actually gives you a look and is like, "You have a distinctly Federation accent."
I left the Federation to make my fortune out here. This seemed the best space.
And she gives you a slight smile and says, "Well, we're always happy to see, you know, former Federation, you know, citizens, you know, out this far into the wild and untamed, you know."
Oh, I retain my citizenship. It helps with the tax breaks.
Very good. You know, mark. She looks at Linda and says,
She gives you her phone number. No.
"You you know, will need to surrender all of your weapons prior to, and agree to a strip search in order to actually be allowed to wander the station. However,
well, she like in the middle of that sentence, Linda starts like waving her hand in like a get on with it motion.
yes,
Like, yeah, I've heard this before, but she didn't say anything.
yeah, like, however, under the circumstances, I suppose we could allow you to see you know, we can escort you to just your meeting first, as long as, of course, you are willing to surrender all weapons."
This is standard Atlas
Yes.
doctrine, right?
Yeah, like
Okay,
they don't
so
trust anyone.
considering that we've got that as a thing, out from under the cloak duffel bag with all of Linda's stuff.
Yeah, she like doesn't even blink at that. She's just like, "All right, perfect. Yeah, I assumed." Yeah, like, and like what happens is like two people come out with like little scanning devices to like wave you up and down for weapons.
Hey guys, welcome to Thor Ragnarok.
It's standard. That's like a standard security sort of thing.
I just dated this film.
I'm
I
bored.
just
Yeah,
dated
it's fine. The Marvel film's gonna be around for fucking ever, so whatever.
Yeah, but not that film.
Well,
It'll
no,
be,
but, like,
it'll be
references-
around for briefly.
Captain America, boom. There you go.
Captain America: Civil War came out 2 years ago.
Okay, well now you're dating it. So she quickly scan, like they scan you guys. I assume none of you are going to trying to conceal weapons on you.
I'm
not.
I can.
About the only thing that I would have would be the pistol, which would be open carried at my side.
Okay, they will insist on taking that from you.
Okay.
Do any of you have cybernetic weapons?
No.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, in that case, they after scanning you all, they basically let you all go. Like, they aren't looking for natural weapons because they kind of assume you wouldn't have them. But yeah.
That would be hard to scan anyways.
Yes, it would.
Unless you do a strip search.
Yeah. So they scan you all down and are like, all right, we assume that, we've kind of got everything. And Morath, Red, you notice, like, you kind of, like, pick up very lightly from one of, like, you can tell from the way, like, one of the people is, like, dressed and stuff that one of the people they have on hand is a psionic of some description. Like, in case any of you turn out to be psionics. Like, they don't have a way of scanning you all, like, easily to be, like, to scan for psionic powers, but, like, they assume that it's always a possibility. And then a group of 4 Atlas security guards wearing medium armor, like, move out to start escorting you all.
Mm-hmm.
Do you try and do anything as you are being led through this Atlas station?
Yeah, just keep an eye on things.
Again, I physically cannot.
Fair point. Are you in the car right now? Where's Kaufman currently been plugged?
We put Kaufman in that portable fucking thing, so
Okay.
it's literally kind of like a VHS player.
Okay, cool. Okay, yeah. So in that case, yeah. So yeah, as you guys are being escorted, you actually pick up a few more guards on the way. Like the closer you get to the administration office, like the more people seem to be kind of like covering you to make sure you don't try anything. And you notice like some of the guards, like especially some of the ones you kind of like pick up along the way, have stun weapons. The 4 you originally started with have very nasty and very lethal looking guns. And
They're squirt guns.
yeah,
Most
and
lethal.
God, the most lethal squirt guns of the galaxy.
They squirt fire.
And you are made aware very quickly that they do not want you talking. Like anytime anyone tries to like say anything, they like give you like a very clear and very nasty signal with their weapons that like spreading your filthy outsider talk is not appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these friendly individuals. Don't they look friendly and fun? I'll post this one up on the screen for everyone to see as well.
This is one of the fire troopers. Have you described how many of them have like their organs showing?
Oh god, yeah, no, like some of these people look fucked up and weird. Like a number of these people have like clear like augmentations done to them. Like the human form is considered like super classy and nice on Atlas, but like people who work in security, especially in higher ranking security positions, are encouraged to basically fuck all that and get all the augments needed to be the best possible drones they can be. Doesn't exactly lead to a healthy work environment, but
So what you're saying is it doesn't matter if he never asked for this; it's going to happen anyway.
exactly, yeah. So up on screen you can now see it. Like basically you're being escorted by for those of you watching online you can see that you're being escorted by people who look a bit like this with like a cybernetic arm and a fucking flamethrower. masks and suit designs that make them look like they clearly do not want you actually seeing them and humanizing with them, nor do they want these people to humanize all of you. Like, as far as they're concerned, you guys, human or alien, are exactly one of two things: not currently a threat to Atlas, or currently a threat to Atlas. And as you finally escort to the thing, you see a room. You see like a large silver embossed door, and as it slides open, you are greeted by a very a plump man, a plump man with a bald head and a very, very carefully maintained beard. Like, he's not fat, but he looks healthy. Like, he looks like he's had a nice, comfortable position and a nice, comfortable lifestyle. But as you come in, he gives you a big, warm smile and says, "Ah, greetings. I've heard about you. Yeah, I heard that the great Linda Love was going to come back and bless our, small, our place here, our halls once again."
Linda nods.
Did you get the arms and legs done before or after you left Atlas?
Before.
Okay.
So while I was still at Atlas.
Okay. He says, I see you haven't. I see you still have those, those excellent, mechanical limbs. They gave us quite the show back in the day. I hope to see them at work once again. And you must be. He looks over at each of you, and he actually, his eyes linger on Red, but then he looks to Wrath and says, "And you must be the captain who escorted our dear Linda back to us."
As per contract.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, I really have to say it's so lovely seeing returning champions. And so often, our veterans are so very reticent to return to us for a second round. It will be quite the experience to, bring back such a crowd favorite. Tell me, Linda, what exactly was it that brought you back here?
The thrill of the hunt.
I'm sure the thrill of the hunt was indeed a large part of it. But I mean, what specifically decided to make you come back to us now?
Oh Lord.
What does he mean? Does he mean like for this specific?
Yeah, this specific time, like right now. Like, why did you come back to us right now?
It seemed as good a time as any.
I suppose.
Would you rather I come back for the next Blood Games?
No, please. Now that you're here, I'm in fact rather insistent that you stay around to join us for this game. We have a very impressive one, actually. Celebration, in fact. It is something of a red-letter day for Atlas and our corporate state.
It's sort of a red letter for this type of media.
Yeah. But no, it's like, yes, it is actually something of a red-letter day for us. We have, achieved something. We are celebrating not only, another wonderful year here in Atlas, but also the success of a rather impressive bit of business back in the rest of the galaxy.
What might that be?
Well, let me roll me a perception check real quick, sense check real quick. Sense plus notice.
Do I do it? or can I not?
You can. Like
Okay, I wasn't sure because I'm stuck in this.
you're technically
little
in like a thing, but like I'm gonna say you have like a little like metal eyeball or something that is being used to.
It's just a stupid camera on it.
Yeah,
Like a dumb camera lens.
Yes.
$15. Wow, I actually rolled like as well as I could.
19.
Okay.
If I roll a 10, do I roll again? No.
No, roll 2d10s with perception. With senses plus notice, and you fail.
I don't have the skill.
Oh,
So,
in that case, yes, roll again.
so 1d10 plus 5, and then roll another d10.
Yep.
Okay.
Boy,
And then I rolled a 1. So what is?
Okay, so that's so you don't quite succeed, but that's fine because Frog, you'll succeed on this own. Morath, what did you roll?
On what was the roll? Sorry.
Senses plus notice, 2d10s.
Census plus notice
Yes.
was okay, so that's a plus 25.
All right. Okay, so you and Defrog, so Rav and Red, you'll actually notice this. It's very subtle, but you know, like as he's speaking, you actually see that there's a slight reflection around the part of the room, and you actually notice for the first time because he's kind of like actually like like for the first time you actually kind of notice that there's a barrier between you and this guy's desk. Like there's actually like a some sort of like either a field projector or like actual like bulletproof glass or something separating you from this dude. And the and like something about that is off-putting.
Trap.
Yeah, and he says it's a red-letter day for Atlas because we've successfully managed a nasty bit of business. Norse Co. has been humiliated. Its secrets will soon be in our hands. And the last loose ends just walked into my office.
Really?
Really?
Who might that be?
The frog. Someone was grabbing at your helmet and trying to yank it off.
They are?
Yes.
Do they? Are we? Yeah, and we're
You're
still
still surrounded by
thing,
guards,
so-
yes. It's one of the
Yeah.
guards, obviously. Like it's not like a random person just walked in trying to yank off your helmet. Like one of the guards just walked your helmet. Yeah.
How many guards are in the room?
Some man with a twirly mustache yanks off
yeah.
your helmet.
There's about 10 of them, and they're all heavily armored and armed, and you know, like have sort of the jump on you.
Yeah, even Atix isn't given bad advice that we can totally take this.
Yeah, Atix is like, you have a 40% chance of succeeding here.
I'm going to shout. Wait! He needs that for medical necessity.
Shamarins don't need helmets to breathe. It's fine.
No, but do they know that we're Does he know that?
Yes, that's what he's saying.
Shimmer-
Like he says that. He says like Shamarins do not need helmets to breathe in air. Trust me, as much as Atlas has spread all sorts of interesting rumors about various xenospecies, I'm very well versed in the races of the galaxy, as would be necessary for someone who deals directly with members of the outside universe.
I was
Given that the gig is up, it's mostly to deal with the smell that you get off. Thank you for the barrier.
He raises his hands, very very like kind of like giving you like a very genuine smile. It's like, I apologize, but if the helmet is more convenient for you, he makes a little gesture, and the guard stops trying to yank your helmet off. It's like, I prefer people to look me eye to eye, but I suppose it's only fair that you be allowed whatever simple protections you wish. Linda, though. I didn't realize that you were actually part of this crew. I must admit that having you back is a genuinely unexpected delight.
I wouldn't be here if I could help it. Quite frankly, you fat fucking pig.
Oh, he like puts his hands to his chest. He's like, "You wounded me. I have done nothing to deserve such foul treatment. Though I suppose, well, and we're all adults here. I'm sure you've guessed that isn't exactly the case. Though, for what it is worth, I personally had nothing against any of you when I hired you. You just happened to be the first people to snap at the opportunity. It was your own greed that doomed you, but I won't pretend that I didn't have anything to do with it.
Are we gonna fight or what? What's happening?
You can try to if you want to, but
You're probably gonna all be sent into the Blood Bowl, aren't you?
yeah. There's also the distinct chance that you are going to be sent to the pits.
To fight to the death.
So, but yeah, he doesn't actually seem to notice that that Kaufman's there. Like Kaufman,
I can't wait for them to just put me in a storage locker with all their confiscated robots and parts.
That's actually a distinct possibility, as long as you don't tip your hand. But he says, now,
Pikachu, I choose you. Just throw the translator at the floor.
Oh, God. He's like, I'm sure you have many, many questions, and I'd love to answer them all, but we are on something of a tight schedule, and if I'm to have you all processed into the games, well, I'll have a bit of work to do. However, if there's anything you specifically would like to know before we're unfortunately forced to once again part company, I suppose I have a moment to answer one or two questions.
So what kind of competition is she looking at in the games? Just curious.
Oh, well, actually, we're, this one is going to be rather fun. And he actually, looks at you, like, red, isn't it?
I don't believe I stated, but yes.
I've heard from sources. I hear that you're quite interested in vehicles, cars and trucks and all that sort of thing.
Mostly in painting them, but also driving them, yes.
Excellent. Well, I think you're going to enjoy the little adventure we have. You see, the aqueduct was, for a time at least, going to be used for a grand aquatic battle, but unfortunately, due to some delays, we've only gotten halfway there. So for the time being, it's a little too flooded to have a normal fight, but we thought we'd have something of a vehicle rumble and really mix things up a little bit. We like to have fun here in Atlas.
Is Mad Max.
Yeah, we like to have fun here. It's Mad Max crossed with Waterworld.
Oh, God.
It's like we like to have fun here, like to mix it up. Linda can tell you all about the various entertaining games that we've had over the years.
I mean, I don't drive any car but mine.
Well, if you'd
And
like, we can
when
always...
did you hear of my name?
What's the name of your wife?
Primrose.
Yeah, Primrose told me.
You know my wife?
I know your wife.
How do you know my wife?
She was brought here several years ago. She was processed through this very same system. I will admit I hadn't really taken much of a note of her at the time, but later, I found her very interesting.
Is she alive?
She's alive.
Hmm.
Would you like to meet her?
I mean, we met in college, but yes.
I believe you knew what I meant, but fair enough. Your car is going to be, if you'd like, can be used for this competition. However, I have to warn you, there's a very good chance it might be a little bit banged up.
Interesting. Is there a chance that I might be able to tinker with it a bit before.
Oh, of course, of course. That will be part of the competition. You'll be given access to a number of pieces that you'll be able to attach to your vehicle, and you all as a group will be able to devise whatever interesting, situation you want to work out. I hear you have a scav in your party. I hear they're extremely talented when it comes to cobbling together absolutely vile pieces of machinery. One of our other teams will actually be scavs, so I'm sure that will be a fun clash.
Alright. What happens if I win?
If you win, well, normally we allow people to leave with good graces, but seeing as to how your continued survival is going to be a rather difficult situation for us, we'll have to come up with a alternative solution, should that arise. Your individual case-by-case situations could be actually rather interesting. I happen to imagine that we could come up with something more fitting than a shallow grave for you, Red. And you, Linda, as well.
There's only ever one victor of the blood games, isn't there?
Normally, yes. They sometimes allow for small teams or little depends on the game. Like some of the games are basically just blood sports. Some games are team competitions. But generally, what happens is they'll after those games they then separate the teams out and have them kill each other. So the chances are they would probably be fighting all these guys. Though every now and then, if they want to make a point about humans working together to achieve greater things, they'll allow a whole team of humans out. But as you guys are not a full team of humans, yeah, probably not so much.
If they put us in the blood games, we're gonna have to kill each other before the end. I whisper to everyone else.
Yeah, figured.
Blood games. I've never liked that wording. We just call them the games. It's much more nice. It's also better marketing. We do tend to cut out all the blood when when showing them to children. Obviously, sensitive tykes, all of those.
So, what's the spread?
You'll be given a week to assemble your vehicle and then engage in the combat. Depending on how things go, whether or not any of you happen to survive, we'll see about further conflicts. During that time, though, he looks at Red. I believe I can arrange a meeting between you and Primrose.
I rolled a random a D100.
Okay.
To make a decision.
Good for you. What decision to make?
Whether or not to immediately have Red flip the fuck out.
Oh boy.
And
the
answer that Red is now crying.
Okay.
Yeah. Not bawling out, but
he's used to people crying in his office. That's not bothering him.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Excellent.
And I get to decorate it however I want.
Of course. Anything for Primrose's dear lady. I'm very fond of your wife, and I would love to have the opportunity to have you both over for dinner sometime.
All right.
If, of course, you survive. I am sure she'd be devastated if you didn't, but we'll have to see. I'm the game's master, but I am not a cheater. Fair competition, all that.
Do you really expect us to believe that?
Please, don't insult me. I'm very fair. I'm not killing you, am I? Nor am I going to sabotage your vehicle. It's far more fun if you actually have a fighting chance.
How many guards did you say there were?
There are about 8 of them right now.
I like those odds.
I do not. Especially since we've been disarmed, and that means that basically it's me at this point that's able to do any sort of defensive or majorly offensive action.
What about the door? What's the door?
The door is closed. You don't know whether or not it has blast shielding like hidden under the fancy wood. It looks thick though, so it definitely could have some steel reinforcement.
Probably.
What about the ceiling?
You can't really tell much about the ceiling. Like it's definitely not like cheap office ceiling where you can like pop it up and like crawl out, but it might not be as tough.
So those weapons that the guards are carrying, there were the 4 of them that had lethal weapons, right?
Yep.
Are they all kind of like underslung heavy weapons like in the picture?
Yes.
Okay. Where are they standing in relation to us?
One of them is like nearby you. One of them is flanking on the opposite side. The other 2 are behind you all. Like kind of holding back. The other 4 guards that you picked up are kind of more in like the ones with stun weapons are more kind of like directly kind of prodding you in the back and like, you know, basically being like arresting officers. The 3 with the heavy weapon, the 4 with the heavy weapons, like 2 of them are kind of flanking you. 2 of them are like far enough back that they can basically roast the entire room if need be.
I'll be back.
Okay, so the heavy weapons in this case are flamethrowers for all 4?
Yes. Well, no, the 2 on either side of you are carrying like basically large shotguns. The 2 in the back have flamethrowers.
Okay.
Kaufman. Kaufman.
Mm-hmm.
You have, don't have access to a lot of stuff right now, but you can contact all these people and give them advice. You do know that, like, Atlas, like, when they arrest people, do tend to, like, strip them of their gear and lock that up. You would probably get tossed in with the rest of that, which would, because they'd also be locking up your stuff, give you access to your own body again.
Oh.
So if you don't want them to get into a fight that could potentially lead to everyone dying, you could make the argument to them that you might be able to break them back out again after they're captured.
All right.
Do you want to like try and explain that in character?
Would I be saying this out loud in the middle of the thing?
We've got to have earpieces.
Yeah, you'd be saying this into their ear. Like, if they try and respond to you, they would be, like, doing so. They'd have to somehow justify doing so in a way that wouldn't sound like they were talking to themselves, but, like, you can talk to them, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Upon confiscation, Kaufman would be able to gain access to his original body.
Okay, I'm going to route this through my private link to Atix and then have Atix talk to Kaufman.
Okay. Yeah, Atex, Kaufman, you feel the familiar presence of Atex as she says, like, Kaufman, it's, pleasant to have a friendly AI back in contact with me.
Hello.
All right,
I am
Atex.
afraid that this situation is hopeless. There's a
0% lot of interference.
Yes, it seems like there seems to be a large explosion happening in the background.
I can't believe that you're taking a shower right now, Graham.
I'm not?
Mad.
I can't believe that you're taking a shower, Graham.
At my or hello?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Anyway. Yeah. So the Kaufman. Atex says to Kaufman. It's so good to. It's so good to finally to be back in contact with you, Kaufman. I'm afraid that due to from my current reading of the situation, there's a 0.001% chance of any of us surviving this encounter.
Clearly, you're not using Atlas security math.
I believe I was using Federation standard mathematical principles and tactical assessments. Does your
According to Atlas law, your Xeno scum programming has corrupted your mathematics equations.
this is a possibility. I have been damaged over time. Do you have a better solution to this situation?
If Kaufman is if Kaufman is confiscated as a piece of equipment, he will be placed in a locker filled with other pieces of equipment from not just the current crew's ship, but also other ships.
Okay, actually, you know what? DeFrog.
Hey, on this, Atex, ask him if he's sure that he can go ahead and get himself installed.
Kaufman, do you believe that you are certain you'd be able to have yourself installed into a robot body when you are currently not actually connected to it?
All AI cores are outfitted with a portable wire in their what's the thing called?
Core.
In their core, allowing for them to extend it and connect to machinery from a distance.
That is highly useful. Unfortunately, I had my such systems removed when I was semi-permanently installed into Raphael Cavador. So I'm gonna actually compel your flaw that you always trust your AI core, DeFrog.
Yeah.
Atex tells you, I believe that Kaufman's plan is the most sensible one. We should rely on Kaufman and not attempt, independent escape until after he has had an opportunity to, enact his plan.
Can I invoke a trait at this point?
Okay.
Going off community, this is Red's wife.
Okay.
She's not.
What you're saying is you want to win Blood Bowl games in order to join your wife.
So, Red's gonna look at the guards, look back at the guy. I'll take your deal.
Excellent. Well, I hope the rest of you are as, wise as Red here. I'm sure that all of us would hate to see such promising talent wasted in such an ugly display of violence.
So Raphael is going to reach up to his helmet, take it off, and go, the shotgun was a shitty plan anyway.
He smiles slightly as you do, and signals to the guards to basically grab you all and not roughly but not super aggressively cuff you and start to lead you out. And as you go, he calls after you. It's so very good to see you in the face, my friend. I do hate communicating only via screens.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, Jasper.
He laughs and just then the doors close behind you. Again, I apologize. This is going to be kind of a short one, but this is actually pretty much exactly where I wanted to get you guys to, if you went this direction, which is that you guys are led down to a series of processing cells, and eventually, where you'll be held for a few days until you are brought down onto the, actual, asteroid where you will get, or the moon, where you'll get involved in this sport if Kaufman is unable to save you. Kaufman, you will have the opportunity to try to break out and save your friends, or if you're unable to do so before they're transferred, at the very least get their ship to them so that they have a way of escaping the planet after maybe a round or two of exciting high-octane car action.
Oh, there's multiple ideas I have.
And we'll be able to work on our car in that cell, right?
You will, once you've been transferred, you will not start out in the cell with the car. This is basically holding before you're sent to prison, and prison in this case is the special area designated for you guys to work on your car prior to the competition. They want to make sure your car doesn't have massive bombs in it or anything that would do things.
Just don't.
Yeah. And you will probably, before you are actually transferred down to the prison, actually have a chance to meet with your wife again. But because my voice is already starting to crack and vanish, and because this is this is basically like the perfect song.
Gosh, April, if only you just stopped doing Let's Read, we wouldn't have this issue.
If I retired Let's Read altogether, then that would take care of everything. Thank goodness Nero's not here to hear that, or he'd fucking murder me. No, but anyway, seriously, thank you all for another good session. Everybody take a GFP for working towards the party goal.
Hey.
The party goal has not changed, by the way, unless you guys want it to. I'm sure you, like, especially if you end up on the planet having to, like, fight in a Mad Max arena style thing, you'll be just as happy as Cat to see it blown to pieces.
Duhad, by the way.
Yeah.
When in the cells, I'm going to meditate and finally get Atex's self-repair and self-debugging program online.
Excellent.
Which is to say, 5 points have been subtracted from my GFP total, and she is going to be using the new rule that you brought up. And technically speaking, I think that counts towards my personal goal.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. That is definitely you are definitely working towards your personal goal with that one. You're actually gonna need a new personal goal when you for the next session, but you have time to think about.
I have so many questions about the storage.
Oh my god, yeah, no, I'll answer a bunch of your questions between this session and the next session, so that when we come back in the next session, because again, we're probably going to be on a short break, because Time Knight's going to run a game, and there's going to be kind of a weird period during the holidays where some like one-shots and stuff will happen and two-shots. So there'll be plenty of time for answering a lot of questions, and when you guys see us again, back in the Rag-A-Muffins universe, I'll explain everything that happened in the interim, but these guys will be filled in on a lot of the basic Q&A stuff that you guys probably don't care quite as much about, like just specific details about rules and what's in the storage cell.